accept everyone for who they are. Love is love. Like the end is like the end is so corny, but like I love it. It's so good.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to Off to Broadway, the podcast where we deep dive into anything and everything musical theater. I'm Tara.
I'm Stefania.
And in today's episode, we're finally talking about Kinky Boots. I feel like we've been waiting to talk about this for years. This is a show that you and I saw together so long ago, and we've like never had the opportunity to revisit in this kind of a way.
Yes, in some ways, Kinky Boots is kind of our origin story, you know? The first show we ever saw together, like hanging out for real. Outside of like
work in quotations.
Work. We saw Kinky Boots together when it was playing, the sit-down Toronto production here. And the rest, as they say, is history.
It's actually kind of crazy that was our first show because, like, how many shows have we seen together since? You know what I mean?
Couldn't say
like,
hundreds. Hundreds.
Yeah. So it's, like, crazy to think that was in 2015. I will insert the photo here. We'll also have it on our Instagram, but we saw it September 29th. 2015.
Wow.
And that
almost
run, which we will get into as we talk about Kinky Boots as a whole, was part of the, I believe, 2014-2015 Mervish season, or it was the 2015-2016.
So yes. I have the playbill from that at the time. I'm not sure, because we saw it in September. So it might have been from the previous season, because it was a sit-down long runner.
4 times. So
I only saw it the once.
That time. Because I saw it like my mom took me on the subscription tickets at the time. Mm-hmm. We loved it. And then we went with my brother because that was, I believe, around the first time when Mervish was doing for Boxing Day the buy one, get one $1. Mm. So my mom and I saw it. Then I think you and I saw it before I went with them. Then I saw it with my mom and Corey. And then I went with my dad. And then we went again this week. Is that this week? Oh my God.
I know. That was 2 days ago.
That was 2 days ago. It feels like 2 weeks ago.
I have our original program from that time. What I do want to note is how hefty this program feels. The paper quality.
This is
so
very
good.
thin.
No, the new
one that
ones.
I'm holding.
Who can we talk to? So our complaint is that when they have a white page, you can see through it. To the ads.
I don't know if you can quite see, but yeah.
So when we're taking a playbill photo, it's ugly because you can see the ad for
here's
Amex
the actual main problem. The Amex ad is so dark that it's bleeding into if it was maybe like the white cast list, it wouldn't be a problem. So
100%.
That's a minor critique, but we've had this a few times now.
The paper is thick. The paper here is thick. Some people in that cast, honestly, like, it's great. Kinky Boots, they have an interview with like Harvey Fierstein, Cyndi Lauper, Jerry Mitchell, the creative team there.
They really like put time into this Toronto production. We'll like get back to the origin of Kinky Boots in a second, but like we were the first sit down post Broadway. I think the national tour began in 2014, but Toronto got a sit down production in 2015.
Yeah, well, it was still running on Broadway as well. Like it was, a first international effort of it. Yeah, some of this, and this was Canadian cast, so we're going to highlight some crazy people that were in this that we're still seeing to this day.
And just to preface before she says these names, they were so iconic to us 10 years ago. Like, This was like one of the best, if not the best, Canadian production Mervish has ever put on. Like, the caliber of talent was unbelievable, and they're just as talented now, but like, please know that 11 years ago they were phenomenal.
They made an impact. We
talk about them to this day. We like never stop talking about them. We're always referencing this production of Kinky Boots.
We start with our number one man, Graham Scott Fleming, playing Charlie. What a voice. Serving vocals.
What a voice. The funniest was when we went to go see him in Ghost at Drayton, and we, I guess, just like tagged him in our like playbill post, and he like commented back to us. He DM'd us at intermission being something about like, my voice is bad tonight or something like that. And we were like, we're fans. But if we even go further back, we stage doored Kinky Boots. Do you remember?
Did we really? Oh my god, no,
Yes.
I don't really. I don't have an autograph, but
No, we
I
didn't
believe
get
it.
an autograph, but I think we just like went to tell him how much we loved his voice.
We just watched. We just want to see.
We were fangirls
No.
at that time.
the voice.
2015 us was fangirl.
This is like before the podcast. This was like very early, obviously.
Yeah.
Yes, as Lola, Alan Mingo Jr., who went on to play the role on Broadway, has played the role, in so many different places. Fantastic. Okay, some other Canadian icons here. As Lauren, AJ Bridell. I mean, oft discussed, past guest of the podcast.
Queen. No one
This
has
was
ever
iconic of her.
sounded. I mean, like Annalie Ashford, the original Lauren, but like AJ Bridell's Lauren is it. And I do have regrets of not seeing her at Drayton a couple years ago reprising the role.
Doing it again.
She told
No,
us
this is the
about
best.
it, and like we should have went.
We should have gone. I know. I think maybe
Yeah.
this summer, let's take a look at the Drayton lineup. And maybe pick one or two.
I think she's there again. I think AJ's doing like Frozen.
Oh, wow. Do we need to see that?
Anna.
Oh, she's a perfect Anna.
Yeah. So,
But yeah,
we'll
I
see. We'll
haven't,
take a look.
I've never seen Frozen the musical, as we know.
I famously
anyway,
have seen it
keep
many
going.
times, but
Keep it going. Okay, as Nicola, Toronto's Juliet herself, Vanessa Sears, past guest of the
Yes.
podcast.
yes.
Okay, next as the character of George, who I think is like, he works at the factory. He's the one in like the
Yes,
coat.
he's the one that like loves Lola.
Yes. James Call, who is Nick from Toronto's Come From Away.
The original cast, right?
The recent Broadway. No, not the recent Toronto cast.
Oh,
And,
the
like,
recent Toronto cast.
Yeah, not the one that went to Broadway, but like the Toronto cast. We've also got Lisa Horner as
Start the
Milan's
car.
stage manager, but famously she Start the Car. She was also, I think, wasn't she in
That's a
Les
very-
Mis, wasn't she?
Yes,
Canadian
and also
reference.
that's a very Canadian reference,
IKEA.
like
Start the
IKEA.
car.
There was an IKEA ad that she was the star of.
Okay, keeping going. Stuart Adam Mackenzie, who is also in & Juliet right now as Juliet's dad, was an angel. Understudy Lola.
Oh my god! This is what my friend Chris was telling me about, and I was like, "Oh, I didn't realize it was like the production of Kinky Boots." Stuart is also understudy for Lance and Shakespeare in this production.
Yes.
And
Okay.
we love watching him in the ensemble.
Like the best. Okay, now another star of & Juliet in Toronto as a swing, Julia McClellan.
Yes,
Right here.
and I believe that Julia actually went to Broadway with Kinky Boots.
Like in the ensemble. I think you're right. With that.
Yeah.
After this. Okay, then we've got as Pat, one of the factory workers, Kristen Peace, who we just saw in Kimberly Akimbo, Bonnie in Come From Away. Like these are all mainstays.
Can I also tell you, so I'm looking at the like cast list here. So Kristen Peace playing Pat, playing the aunt in Kimberly Akimbo, and you know who else played Pat? Bonnie Milligan played
Bonnie
Pat.
Milligan. Wow.
So in the
it's-
US tour.
Wow. Okay, let's keep it going. Ensemble, understudy Lauren Nicola, Erica Peck from
I know.
Titanic, from Stratford at Rent.
We Will Rock
From
You. The
We Will Rock
original
You.
time it was in Toronto.
Yes, that's what it says in her program here. So many things. Okay, another person. Star of & Juliet in Toronto right now, David Silvestri in the ensemble. Lance.
Oh my god.
Understudy Dawn.
Okay, also David Silvestri of Come From Away fame. He
You're right.
was also
We've got
the mayor.
Come From Away cast. We've got & Juliet here.
So you're missing
Caesar-
like the biggest one here, the Daniel playing Dawn.
Who's Daniel playing Dawn?
Daniel Williston, who was in Telltale Harbor, who was
Oh,
in
wow. He was. No, I did
Um,
skip over him. I'm sorry. Full Monty. Into the Woods. Okay, but what did we see?
I think just Telltale, and then it really stuck out to me that he was Dawn in Kinky Boots. Like that's how I know him.
He's done some Ross Petty here.
Wow, he did the Australian tour of Kinky Boots as Dawn.
Oh, wow.
He's been in many
Amazing.
things. He did like Jukebox Hero. He was in Shrek. He was in, yeah, as you said, like Ross Petty stuff. He does a lot of Canadian theater. Tarragon,
Yeah.
Theatre Aquarius, Citadel, Port Hope, Soul Pepper,
Great.
Charlottetown. Like he works. He's booked and busy. Wow, he was in Peter the Starcatcher
Where?
at Western.
Wow.
Oh, he was also in Evil Dead. Wow.
Wow. Evil Dead. I love it.
Death of a Salesman. He's done a lot of Soul Pepper. Yeah, like, the talent in this cast was crazy to me.
Is there anyone else that I need to really highlight here? I mean, so many talented people. But no, I think I've really nailed the stars for us.
David Silvestri was a shock to me. I didn't remember that at all.
No, he was not vivid to me as well, but honestly, the star of & Juliet, I have to be honest. Anytime David Silvestri appears on stage, the audience just, like, comes alive.
And I also have to say that, like, he really commands that entire stage. Like, he is so good in & Juliet. He was also really good in Come From Away, but he's, like, so good in & Juliet. Such a different role. Like, for really, sure, so different.
He really nails the tone of & Juliet. Like, the comedic seriousness.
Before we, go back to, like, the origin of Kinky Boots, you also, which I'm going to grab.
Oh, wow.
Got me.
A prop. Wow.
Do you remember?
Yes, I know. Scenery bags. I do remember.
This is for, listeners only. This is I don't even know what you would call this. It's not like a clutch. It's like a pouch. That says "Say Yeah" on it. And it's from Scenery. I kept the tag on because I was like, this is important. Yes. Scenery, take the story with you. And basically this is like made out of the curtains, the red curtains from the Broadway show. Scenery does this for like many things. You can get... what I like wish I had? People, when Phantom closed, they have like necklaces with like pieces of the chandelier. I was like, that's so
like crystal
good.
From the chandelier. That's crazy.
They do a lot of like Wicked pieces with like the curtains, pieces of like Galinda's dress. Anyway, this one is so iconic because wow, the red and pink like really on trend right now.
Yes, red and pink combo. I mean, for the show.
It says say yeah in pink letters. I've literally never used it because it's too nice to use, so it sits on my bookshelf. But inside it says Kinky Boots, like Scenery, and then it has like a number, like 341.
Right, because there's only so many made.
Yeah. And then there's like a little card inside that says, when a show moves out of a theater, some curtains remain. Black drops called legs hang on either side of the stage, separating the world on stage from the world off stage. They are not owned by anyone. Show, but used to tell many stories. Now these retired legs have a new story to tell with you. A portion of your purchase will be used to take kids to see live performance of theater. Oh my god!
Wow, that's so nice.
You bought this so many years ago.
I did. I did buy this so many years ago.
I might have read it for the first time, like possibly like 10-ish years ago, but we're reading it again now. So yeah, like Kinky Boots has been like a pretty big, I would say, piece of theater in our like friendship. It's funny because, like, I don't know, like, we were obviously, it's, when you, like, work with someone and then it's like, when do you see this person outside of, like, work events? Yeah, so we crossed that bridge and we've never looked back. So here we are.
No.
And, yeah, so we recently saw Kinky Boots again for the first time in over a decade. And... to go back in time, Kinky Boots has actually like kind of been around for 2 decades because the original movie, which is not a musical, came out in 2005, which was a British movie, but also stars like big names. We have Chiwetel Ejiofor playing Lola, and we have Taron Egerton playing Charlie. So those are
Joel Edgerton.
Sorry, Joel. Yes, Taron's too young. Joel Edgerton playing Charlie. So those are 2 big names. And then just like reading that, like this has been kind of like in development since 2006.
Wow.
And they did their like out of town tryout in Chicago in 2012, which at the time still had like Stark, Sands, Billy Porter in it. And then they made their Broadway debut in 2013 at the Al Hirschfeld Theater. And it was on Broadway for 6 years.
Wow.
So
a long runner.
A hit. Like it was a hit.
No,
I just remember like so vividly because when I used to go to New York, we would stay at like the Millennium. Like couldn't stay there now because it's probably like $700 a night. But back then, much cheaper. And I just remember anytime we had a view that like possibly like faced towards the Al Hirschfeld, you would see that big sign that says like Kinky Boots, Billy Porter, Stark Sands. So that's like vivid to me of a memory of this show. as well.
Yes, I agree.
So
I agree. Seeing it out there, not all theaters have signs like that kind of on their roof. I remember seeing it at my window, staying at Row NYC back in 2018. Yeah. Row NYC. That was near the end of its run, likely, but yeah, it was like a Broadway mainstay for a while, and I think there's many reasons why it did like connect with audiences and with us specifically. I mean, we can start with. Well, let's start with who wrote the music. Well, okay, we can do a plot summary, I guess. But I think we can. But I think maybe to start with, this is a musical written with the music written by someone who hadn't written a musical before, someone who knows pop music well, who knows how to write a hook, and kind of has like that 80s fun sensibility. So Cyndi Lauper wrote the music and lyrics for Kinky Boots, and I think she did a great job, like capturing the spirit of a musical.
I agree. Mm-hmm.
Like not all pop artists or music artists who come over from making, writing music for themselves or for artists, like who transition over to writing for a musical, like have the skill to do storytelling in song. Mm-hmm. And I think Kinky Boots is very successful. I do think there are some moments where it's like a bit literal, but generally like super fun, like great feel-good music.
Yeah, I think we can get into like specific songs a little bit later, but also to like complement, the music. The book is written by Harvey Fierstein.
Yes.
Like at the time, I think to me, I was like, oh my God, like Edna from Hairspray. Like that's the fame of Harvey Fierstein to me. But also, didn't Harvey Fierstein, am I making this up? Did he write the book for La Cage aux Folles?
Yes, no, he did. I was going to say, like, okay, a really, really talented book writer. This is a skill. He knows how to construct a story and like add heart to a story. He did the book for Newsies.
Right. He did?
Yeah, the new book for the new Newsies musical.
Wow. Okay, Harvey, like, let's stick to writing because you're really good at that. Like,
he's really great.
But I will say, like, obviously, La Cage does have some, like, parallels to Kinky Boots. It's kind of a similar-esque, like, story in the sense of, like, performance-wise, not necessarily, like, plot-wise. That one is more of a, like, serious. This is more campy, I would say. But both shows I love. So, yeah, like, great. Harvey Fierstein. And then, like, the third person in this mix is Jerry Mitchell, who also worked with Harvey, I believe, on La Cage aux Folles. And, he's done many, many, many things. Jerry Mitchell is still, like, doing many things to this day. So I feel like can see a bit of his identity, like, in this show as well.
This was early in his kind of transition, early-ish, I would say, in his transition from just choreographing to choreographing and directing. He had done Legally Blonde as well, but which he directed.
Also iconic.
Another iconic show. Yeah, they do kind of have the similar sensibility almost, like a sassiness, a kind of like open-heartedness. I think both Legally Blonde and Kinky Boots have, like very earnest in some ways. But yeah, he had worked with Harvey Fierstein on the 2005 revival of La Cage aux Folles. He did the choreography. And then he did, I think, his first directing job for Broadway was Legally Blonde. And he kind of...
Wow, nailed it. As a debut.
For us, yes. I don't think it was like quite the hit at the time.
No. But to me, a hit.
But yeah, to me too. He did, I think, Catch Me If You Can. Wow. And then he did Kinky Boots.
And all this to also say, so it also like did very well at the Tony Awards. It won 6 Tony Awards that season, including Best Actor in a Musical for Billy Porter, who plays Lola. Jerry Mitchell won choreography. It won Best Orchestrations, Best Original Score, Best Sound Design, and then the biggest award of the night, Best Musical. So,
what was the other musical that year? What were his competitors? Have we talked about this?
Okay, I don't know.
I think we have done an episode about this.
We
probably. I literally think we've done an episode about this.
Matilda? 2013 Tony Awards. I believe it was Matilda. Hang on. Nominations. Let's see. Musical. Best musical. Bring It On.
Oh.
Wow.
I think we can episode about this.
Did we? Yeah, you're right. Kinky Boots, Matilda, and A Christmas Story. Because I remember listening to A Christmas Story. And I was like, how did this get in here? But it did.
It did.
But, Bring It On also has
Pasek and Paul. That was
kind of
Pasek and
energy.
Paul's. Yes, I mean, you're right. I love Bring It On. I'm a Bring It On defender. I never saw it, but I love that cast album. But yeah, I do think, I mean, Matilda actually also...
Iconic.
It's a tricky one. It's a tricky pair of what's going to win. Because, yeah, I feel like the year previous was Newsies versus Once. And
I think you're right. Because the tone... Yeah. No, it's very interesting. Matilda probably could have easily... I think Kinky Boots and Matilda are maybe interchangeable to some people in terms of, like, awards.
Another one where kind of, like, a pop artist, Tim Minchin, kind of came in to write music for...
That's a good score, too.
An existing... I mean, I love the Matilda score. I think the Matilda score is so successful in kind of translating the tone of, like, that Roald Dahl tone to
also
stage.
Great choreography in Matilda.
Mm-hmm. Who did that choreography?
I don't know, but it's very different to, like... I feel like we're hitting so hard on certain things. I just think about, like, the classic hands on hip pose, the naughty pose. Yeah, great score. That's a great show. Another one we saw, like, when it was here, like, a while ago.
There was also a Toronto sit-down production of Matilda, starring Paula Brancatti.
Hannah Levinson.
Remember this? Hannah Levinson.
Yeah.
Hannah Levinson.
So, Kinky Boots. Do you want to give a bit of a synopsis?
Oh, sure. I can do a synopsis for Kinky Boots. So, the summary of Kinky Boots is we have our main character, Charlie Price. And he is kind of... His father owns a shoe factory, and he's a bit resentful. He doesn't want to take over the shoe factory. He wants to move to London and forge his own path. But then when his father unexpectedly dies, he comes back and finds out that the shoe factory is not really making money, and it's going to need to close. But obviously, it employs so many people in the town, so they're trying to find a way to not close.
It's giving Telltale Harbor.
It was giving Telltale Harbor the other day.
Sorry, Telltale Harbor is giving Kinky Boots, but yes.
It's kind of an evergreen story, the industrialization, the changing of the workforce. But yeah, so that's what's happening. Then he gets mugged? I don't know. This part I forgot happened. He sort of gets into like an altercation on the street, and in that meets a drag queen who defends him with her shoe, her boot. It's so heavy that he knocks out... The drag queen knocks out the burglars.
I think it's Lola that's like getting... Something is happening there, but Charlie gets caught up in Lola's drama.
Right. There's an altercation. Okay?
Yeah, something happens.
So then Charlie goes back with Lola to the backstage of their performance, and they meet, and Charlie is obviously a shoe expert. So, I don't know, chaos ensues. Charlie offers a job to Lola designing boots for drag queens, and he's like, this is going to be the new business for my factory to save
niche market.
A niche exactly. So there's trial and error. First Charlie designs, like, makes the ugliest boots in the world, until finally at the end of Act 1 we have our perfect boot, and then they have to create
boot, if you will,
a kinky boots. Then they have to create their whole line and stock for them to take it to Milan to do a fashion show. So Act 1 is getting us to the final design of the boot, and then Act 2 is we've got to get to Milan with these boots and put on a fashion show.
And then we really kind of just end there. We don't know what happens after that, but that's okay.
No, we don't know if anyone buys the boots. And Act 2, honestly, I was like, oh, nothing's happening in this act, is it? That's interesting.
No, but it's okay.
That's
because
fine.
The songs are iconic in Act 2.
No, I know. As soon as, like, Act 2 started, I was like, wait, we've run the plot a little bit, haven't we? Oh, interesting.
Well, as you'll know, I did not say that it won Best Book of a Musical. So
no, but I think Harvey did a good job. Yeah, there's like an openness, an earnestness to the show. I teared up the other night when, they're singing their final song.
Accept yourself and you'll accept others too.
Accept yourself and you'll accept others too. We haven't even talked about the original Broadway cast at all.
No. There's so much to say.
Iconic
I feel like
of Nicola.
Before we talk about that, like, I'm kind of interested, you know, we've been on a musical comedy journey with Steph on this podcast. This is a musical comedy that you like.
I do like it.
I feel like what, like, stands out to you about this one that, like, maybe others lack?
This is a good question. I hadn't really thought of it from that angle, but it is undeniably a musical comedy. I think it's not, like, there are jokes in this, but I don't think it's trying to do a joke a minute. I think they are letting it play out in a slightly, hopefully more natural way. Like, at the core of the story is the heart of, you know, Charlie and Lola's friendship and relationship, and also, you know, the saving of these people's jobs, and then comedy is mined out of that almost incidentally. It's like situational, the comedy, whereas I find maybe a lot of the musical comedies that like are off-putting to me, it feels like they're shoehorning jokes in everywhere. All the like comedy feels like it comes organically from like the silly situations that would come from this. So yeah, maybe it just doesn't feel so like heavy-handed in trying to be like, isn't this funny? Don't you find this so funny? Aren't you laughing?
Right.
Like, it is funny. You know, there are like an iconic musical comedy song here is like History of Wrong Guys, which is just, you know, a solo performance of our female main character, Lauren, just kind of like losing her mind to this song. She's physical comedy. She's doing comedy with her voice. But there's also something so like real about, you know, she has a crush, and it just feels like authentic to the character, and you as an audience member, or me anyway, are like, oh, I recognize that feeling, or that is kind of silly, that is kind of funny, and it just feels real while at the same time being hilarious.
No, I think that like those all stand true. I also think that like a lot of what helps with this, we talked about this the other night, this is a banger of a score, like literally no skips to me. No skips. I mean, like there are moments that maybe if I'm listening normally, I would maybe skip, you know, what's that song called that Lola sings? Hold Me in Your Heart. But the other day I was like, this is iconic.
It wasn't that long the other night. I remember it being longer. It wasn't so long.
In my memory, I thought it was like 5 minutes, but in actuality, it was like 2. So it's actually more than fine.
And it's giving kind of I Have Nothing. The orchestrations of it is giving I Have Nothing.
And it's funny because like my parents went to go see this yesterday afternoon when we're recording this. And because my parents also really liked this back in 2015 when we all saw this. And my dad was saying the other day that Not My Father's Son, which I know could be a skip for you, but I love that song. My dad said it sounds very much like Luther Vandross. And I was like, so interesting. And I also was like, this is by Cyndi Lauper. I'm sure she had influence from like a lot of her like musical like friends in the industry.
Yes.
Yeah. And then I was saying to them exactly what we were saying of like how, you know, Hold Me in Your Heart feels very Whitney. There's like lots of musical influences. I don't hear like a ton of Cyndi Lauper in this, which I think is really good.
No, I think for me, when I hear Cyndi the most, it's not even like her vocal. It's like, let's say Raise You Up Just Be, like the guitar sound in the background, like the kind of funky guitar. That feels a bit Cyndi, a bit 80s to me.
Yeah. But I think, like, when we talk about, you know, the important moments in a musical theater score, like, this kind of does a good job on every single one of those. A great opening number, I think. Price and Son, a really fun theme. Establishes where we are. Gets that full cast in there. Really good. Then we have a good... that
introduces like the Price and Sons like side, and then Land of Lola really introduces the world of the drag queens and Lola. So you get these kind of like two sides of our story, and then they meet kind of.
What would you say the I Want song is? Is it step one?
Yeah, that's a good question. Step one.
Love that song too.
Has done. Step one is great.
Look what Charlie Boy has done.
Look what
Charlie Boy. I also think what Cyndi did very well is like her like themes, her motifs throughout this. We get a lot of like it happens in sorry, when I said opening number, I also meant the most beautiful thing in the world, because those are kind of like together to me. The most beautiful thing in the world. But when he says like, this is my destiny, we get that multiple times. When he does it in Take What You Got, the Random Friend song that I absolutely love that song for like no reason, but like Random Friend song. But when he like holds up the pair of shoes and he's like, this is my destiny, he holds the note and he's like, I don't know. But then when we get it in like step one, he's like, I'm here, I'm going to bring these people back together. So I would say that's probably the I Want song. The Act 1 finale, iconic. Everybody say yeah. Iconic. The treadmills.
I was waiting the other night because, you know, they kind of build up to the treadmills when Charlie
She was waiting
and Lola
the other night
like,
because it's a non-equity tour and we weren't sure if they were going to do the full thing.
They didn't treadmill. When they were like running on the treadmill and they're like, and they're like,
it's kind of difficult choreo.
It's so good. It's so good. And I think, who was it that we spoke to that said the cast like turns on and off the treadmills and like controls the speed of the treadmills?
It must have been
there?
AJ.
It must have been. Like it's not automated. Like they're responsible for like turning on the treadmill, turning it off, like locking it. Crazy. You know, you see as they're getting the treadmills like in position, you see them like moving the railings around, and you're like, it's coming, it's happening.
Well, because like for people that haven't seen it, the treadmill is the shoe conveyor belt, and then we like manipulate it to become basically 3 separate
it's like one
treadmills.
Long one, or it's like 4 different ones, or
it's so exciting. If you want to like see it in all of its glory, the Tony performance is unbelievable. I'll put it in the description. But yeah, an amazing Act 1 finale. Then we have like pretty fun songs in Act 2, our 11 o'clock big number. We get 2, I think. We have Soul of a Man for Charlie and Hold Me in Your Heart for Lola.
Maybe my top song, Soul of a Man.
I think it's so well written, that song. Like, it starts off, you know, he's really in his feelings and then realizes like, oh, I gotta get my shit together and like, how can I be the soul of the man? I'm that ego. Also, the final note, amazing. So good.
And Holy Spoken, like Stark Sands on that cast recording. Original Romeo, original Shakespeare. Sorry. On Broadway and in Toronto. Wow, so much overlap with Anne Juliet and Kinky Boots. But
and then obviously Billy Porter as our Lola.
Original Lola.
Annalie Ashford as our Lauren. And side character Lena Hall as Nicola.
Like not singing, has no singing part. Except for respect yourself and yours. Okay.
And then we end, I think, on once again like a really, really good Act 2 finale of Raise You Up, Just Be. And we were talking about this the other day. I've been talking about this since I saw the show in 2015. Toronto was obsessed with the radio ads for Kinky Boots back in 2015. It was literally like you would turn on the radio. And I remember this so vividly because I used to work on a morning show and the ads would play every morning at like 4:30 a.m. It would be Toronto loves Kinky Boots. And then it goes into everybody say yeah. And then we would do like a Just Be moment. So good. And then we were also talking about how like we really use those radio spots for Dear Evan Hansen when it was in Toronto as well.
They would play like half of You Will Be Found on the radio. Just like play the full song. Are there radio ads for Anne Juliet? Maybe I'm not listening to the radio.
I'm not listening to the radio like I used to be.
Are there radio ads in Toronto for Anne Juliet?
I don't know. Somebody tell us if you're listening to the radio. Like,
were there radio ads for 6? There must be.
I feel like there was like on the news, CP24. If you're from Toronto, you know CP24, but they would always play like the end of Ex-Wives in their ad. So I feel like that was there.
6. Wow.
Yeah. I do think like when we, you know, break this down and look at it this way, like this, if the score was not as iconic as it is, I think the musical does not stand on its own with just the book, but they go so well hand in hand.
I think this is, like we said, a perfect transition from writing pop music to using that skill and talent as a pop songwriter to create music that just like worms into you and you can't get out. It really creates like, it's very good at, like, storytelling, even just with, like, the sound and the melody. And I think Cyndi Lauper just is so successful in creating that storytelling with the music. And, like, sometimes when a pop singer or, you know, a regular musician or artist transitions to musical theater, they don't quite know how to move their sensibility into telling a story. And Cyndi Lauper was so successful in kind of finding that balance between her, like, catchy hooks, which there's like a hook in almost every single one of these songs, like something that you can hum and sing. Every single one of these songs is hummable, in my opinion. And
I will sing
also
your, like, what is it at the end there? Like, Charlie Boy, You and Me. Like, I will sing that into Just Be.
Just Be. Okay. Yeah, like, she like, harnessed that talent for writing a pop song, and, like, injected it like drugs into this score, basically. And not everyone who transitions over is as successful as doing that.
Yeah, I think also,
while still storytelling.
Like, in this show as well, we said this the other night when we were walking out, it's like pure joy. Like, this ends on a high. Yeah. So you are, like, walking out so happy because, like, the music is so uplifting at the end. Everyone's, like, dancing in the audience. We just had this, like, big fashion show moment. Like, it's just a very joyful ending to the musical that how could you not walk out being like, oh my God, I had a great time. Like, I loved that. It was so fun.
It has such, like, a sweet and corny ending.
It's so cheesy.
The moment when, you know, they're all coming out in the boots, like, Charlie thinks he has to do the fashion show by himself because no one's there, but then Lola and the Angels all show up to do the fashion show and they're all wearing the boots. They've saved the day. And then everyone from the factory comes out in the boots. When Dawn steps onto the stage in the boots, the audience goes nuts. Like, it's crazy because you've earned that journey of kind of, like, being standoffish from Lola against something that, like, was unfamiliar to him. And then, you know, kind of embracing it at the end. And then you just have everyone in the boots dancing. Like, the last 10 minutes of the show were just so, like, fun. Partying in the boots.
Feed the fire the day you hire.
And the end is just like, accept everyone for who they are. Love is love. Like, the
confetti.
End is, like, the end is so corny, but, like, I love it. It's so good. Sometimes you just need that, like, heartwarming thing.
Yeah.
To just sit with. But yeah, they're just like, love everyone. And you're like, oh my God.
Literally. Before we go, like, into, like, this production and more of the story, do you have, like, a favorite song?
I think my favorite song is Soul of a Man. I just love the emotion in it. I find it so catchy. Another one I really, really love is, you know, Everybody Say Yeah. A classic. Everybody say, yay. You know, the riffing. History of Wrong Guys to me.
Yeah.
I'm just going through the whole cast album. History of Wrong Guys to me is just, like, perfect as a standalone. I'm sure, you know, a Jimmy Awards.
I think you used it as an obsession,
mainstay.
Like, so early in this podcast.
Like, it's just so good. And then something that really hit me seeing it the other night was Land of Lola. So good. Just as, like, a character introduction. Land of Lola, so good. So now that I've said every single song,
now, Tara, I'm gonna have to play, like, a snippet of every single song. No, I also, like, all of the ones that you said. I think, as you said, like, Everybody Say Yeah is, like, one of. It's such a well-written Act 1 finale. I don't even know if it made our Act 1 finales list, but, like, if it didn't, how dare us? That was so many years ago. It's just, like, it ties up everything you want. I weirdly love Step 1. I think it's so good. I love him starting to, like, make the boot off the top. I feel like I love Step 1 because it also, like, leads so well into Soul of a Man later. It's kind of like the foreshadow of Soul of a Man.
100%.
Also, Stark Sands on that cast recording, so good. Like, really good. So young, so youthful, vocally, so healthy. Everybody's so healthy on that cast recording. But I agree with you. I think specifically, like, watching it again for the first time in over a decade, Land of Lola really stuck out. And let's talk about, you know, the cast that we saw, because I think by far the strongest person in this cast was Lola. Omri Collins, or their drag name, Scarlett D. Von Du. So good. So captivating to watch. I will say it was really fun being there, I think, on this media night because, you know, Toronto has a lot of drag queens, and they were in the audience, and anytime that Lola and the Angels came out, we were catcalling, which I loved.
You could buy a fan at the
Yeah.
merch, and people were buying fans and ready to like whip it out. I have to compare quality of fans from the Kinky Boots tour to the Moulin Rouge tour. Kinky Boots fan is higher quality than the Moulin Rouge
And it's the non-equity tour.
And it's non-equity tour. I know. But yeah, like the Moulin Rouge fan is quite stiff.
It is
whereas the
stiff.
Kinky Boots fan, I was seeing people whip it open, which is like good for a drag show.
Like you want the fan to like make the noise when you open it. You can't do that with the Moulin Rouge fan.
The Moulin Rouge fan does not do that. It does not do that.
But yeah, like Omri's such a standout. I always love, and we like talked about it also the other night when Lola turns into Simon for the first time, and we just like literally take the strip lash off, but put a pound of concealer on top of the makeup.
Yeah. I remember watching a video, I think, of them doing that makeup on Billy Porter. Like, it was probably a Broadway.com behind the scenes thing, but they were doing like his makeup transitions throughout the show, and they start off with, so like for a drag queen or for women in general, the idea is to like keep the light at the center of the face and then like darkness around the sides. But when they transition to Simon, they add more like light on the sides to make it a more masculine face. Yeah.
Yeah. And then because like Simon,
which is like mid Act 1. Yeah.
Act 1. But then I noticed like when we come back for Act 2, that winged liner was winged out because Lola is like stayed. I would have to assume that at intermission, the Lolas are like washing their face and starting the base again.
I wonder, or if we just like are adding on top. This is a really good question.
We were sitting a bit too far back this time to like actually see like the intricacies of the makeup. But I could see that sharp wing from Roelle. So congrats to whoever did that wing.
This is non-equity. Like
they're doing it themselves.
They're doing it themselves. Like, and to be fair, like that is typical for musicals. Like people are doing their own makeup for theater and stage, but this is a bit more for Lola and the other angels. It's a bit more of like an elaborate makeup look than normal.
But also
Charlie's makeup is pretty chill.
You know, it's just I know what that just reminded me of when we interviewed Robert Marcus and we were talking about makeup, I think, for like Riff Raff, and then he was like, and for Evan, I just dotted concealer on my face.
Just like
it's like, and then I think he also was like, and if I had a zit, I let it go on because he's a teenager.
he's a teen. You're like, yes, this is method.
Yeah.
It's good. That's funny.
But Omri playing Lola, this is, as says in the bio, their 7th time in the Boots.
Wow.
So no stranger to Lola. And, you know, to do this like time and time again, it's a big role. Like you do a lot of dancing, you're on stage a lot, you sing big songs. I thought, Land of Lola for sure a standout for Omri. I also, again, loved Everybody Say Yeah, Not My Father's Son. I could literally list everything. I literally think this is a no-skip cast recording. Like, I truly believe it's a no-skip.
Yes, my one skip is Hold Me in Your Heart, as we said.
But not the other day.
Well, I was at the theater. What am I going to do? But no, it was good. It was nice. But yeah, like, at that moment, I'm just like, I want to go from Soul of a Man straight to Raise You Up. Just be.
Yeah, that's fair.
Just be.
But I also understand, like, thematically that we need both Charlie and Lola to have their own 11 o'clock numbers. 100%. Other things here about, like, non-equity, if you don't know what non-equity means, it just means that they're not in the union. So a lot of these people are, like, fresh out of school. Which, you know, our Nicola, a recent graduate from Ithaca College. We have a bunch of Angel/Ensemble, recent graduate from Boston Conservatory. A lot of national tour debuts. This is kind of like your foot in the door, I would say, when you join like a non-equity tour. But like, I gotta say, we've seen a few non-equities in the last little while. This is one of the better ones. I thought everybody was pretty good in this.
I agree. It was pretty good. I wouldn't say like that I was missing
No.
the talent. Yeah, like there are just different rules. It's a lot of times it's like before people have joined the union, you need to get a certain amount of hours working in certain types of theaters. So a lot of these people are just young and have not yet joined the union. Sometimes people don't want to join the union yet because it does limit the types and amount of jobs you can take. Because there are obviously more non-equity jobs that you can take than equity. And yeah, there are just different like pay scales, pay structures, different like, you know, they don't have a union negotiating for them, different like accommodation requirements, just different things that they offer or don't offer to the cast. And often you can also see, this is usually like a show will do this. Many people listening to this probably know this, but if you don't, a show will like, let's say be on Broadway, and then they'll do an equity tour. And then once that equity tour ends, they'll close that tour, then they'll reopen potentially a non-equity tour, and they'll go to smaller markets or revisit the same markets, but for oftentimes like shorter amounts of time, because, you know, that's part of the thing. You don't need to, you're moving sometimes like after 1 day or after 2 days in certain cities. Toronto usually gets longer runs because one, our theaters are like slightly smaller, but also it just has a big audience to support it. So usually like the non-equity tour, this is 10 plus years after Kinky Boots was on Broadway. So we're really just like extending the life. Is the market there to support a full equity tour? And oftentimes like the set is a bit scaled down for something like this as well.
It felt pretty good to me, this tour. I would say very reminiscent, I think, of this set that we saw 11 years ago.
For the most part, like the fabric kind of like
on the side.
Was a bit,
but like the boots look good.
No, the boots were good. The costumes were good.
I will
stuff,
say,
like, flying in and out, not bad.
Yes, the biggest difference in equity versus non-equity are the children.
We know children.
If anybody knows off the top of the show, I literally turned to Steph and I was like, "Where are the kids?" Like that was my first thought. So off the top of the show,
yeah, please.
Off the top of the show, it's like Charlie's dad. And when we saw it for the first time, it was young Charlie. Now, I want to say that kid was probably like, what, 9 or 10, 11, around that age. And then he sings a bit of The Most Beautiful Thing in the World. And then we cut to Simon, who sings like a portion of the song that has been cut for this tour because that was specific to little Simon singing. And then those kids like meet, but they don't actually meet. They're just like standing beside each other. Then they're like... The main reveal is at the very end when we're singing Just Be, and Lola is saying, "We're the same, Charlie boy, you and me," and their little versions are standing in front of them. And I feel like that's when I like cried the first time that we saw it, because I was like, oh my god, the kids. But the kids have been cut for this non-equity tour.
Yes, they have the like actor playing Charlie just like in a baseball cap and holding a soccer ball. Like, just pretend he's 10, okay?
And then at the end, we just have like the dads walk out like so randomly during Just Be.
And like hug. You're like, oh.
Yes.
Okay.
And I did confirm that this was just for this because Kinky Boots is back in the West End after also many years. It played in the West End like right after Toronto in like 2015. And there are children in that. Something I want to talk about with Kinky Boots here is the stunt cast.
Oh, wow. Yes. A good note.
Because in the time that it was on Broadway for 6 years, we saw many, many people walk in and out of Kinky Boots. Please tell us your favorite one.
I can never get past Tiki Barber being stunt cast as Dawn. One, for the character of Dawn to be stunt cast, I can't. But then it's like, of all people, Tiki Barber, who I don't even know sports, a football player for the New York Giants. He like did a 6-week run in Kinky Boots, like to close the show. I don't know who was closing the show, but it was like near the end. It was near the end of the run.
I'm trying to see if I can find a list of like, because when I say stunt cast, I mean we stunt casted Kinky Boots. I mean, everybody walked in, and
David Cook from
American Idol winner, David Cook as Charlie Price. I just think it's like a perfect show for
Tiki
someone.
Barber in the boots.
I just think it's like such a good, fun show for people to walk in and out of. I will say, I think one of the most iconic and like critically acclaimed was Wayne Brady as Lola. Like he was in it for quite a long time, and people like really were obsessed with his performance. So
what about Mark Ballas as Charlie.
That's like kind of random to me. I don't think that like it's quite the vibe.
That
I
was
love
his
Mark.
Broadway debut, I think.
Wasn't it Jersey Boys?
Maybe?
Wow, was it Kinky Boots? Crazy.
I thought it was Kinky Boots. But it
We
could've been
had
Jersey Boys.
like, oh my god, did Drew Seeley do it? I'm just reading.
Maybe.
Marissa
Oh my God.
Jarrett Winokur as Pat.
Oh! when you're stunt casting the ensemble,
I kind of love it though because Pat has that one iconic line of "and I pulled the leather tight" and like that's it. Then she doesn't sing anything else.
Okay. Okay.
Drew Seeley as somebody
he
here.
was in he would be the final actor to portray the role of Frankie Valli in the Broadway cast of Jersey
Oh,
Boys.
sorry. Marissa Jarrett. I need to go back. Marissa Jarrett Winokur was in the Hollywood Bowl Kinky Boots. That makes more sense to me.
Oh, okay. So, wow, I'm reading this paragraph on Wikipedia, on Mark Ballas's Wikipedia.
He also played Harry in the Hollywood Bowl. Mark Ballas.
Mark
the
Ballas?
cousin.
Oh,
you gotta
the
take
cousin.
what you got.
You gotta take what you got. That's a good fit for him, I think. Okay, so he was the final Frankie Valli in the Broadway cast of Jersey Boys before it closed in 2017. Then, in 2018, he played Teen Angel in the 2018 Toronto revival of Grease, Toronto, in a limited run of June 7th to 10th. I didn't see him. From September 11th, 2018 to November 18th, 2018, Ballas portrayed Charlie Price in the musical Kinky Boots on Broadway.
Wow.
He appeared as Harry in the Hollywood production. And then he just did Chicago.
Wow, Tiki Barber is in the
Tiki.
22 surprising examples of stunt casting.
Exactly. No, he's iconic in this. I barely know who he is, but it's so funny that he did it. Like, at all. How do you think that even came about? Who approached who?
Well, to me, like this stunt casting of Kinky Boots is giving Dancing with the Stars. So maybe it was the same people that cast for Dancing with the Stars.
Maybe. But like Tiki Barber hasn't done Dancing with the Stars.
But he could, you know? Like he's in that kind of a realm of he could.
He'd be like,
There's
I'm
also,
experienced.
Do you remember... Oh, what's his name also played Charlie from Panic at the Disco?
Oh, yeah. Brendan Urie?
Yes.
Brendan Urie?
And what's her name from Pentatonics was Lauren.
Kirsty Maldonado?
Yes. So, like, real singers have, like, stepped in
People
to
are
do
happening.
this. I just think it's fun. It's a fun show to be in. I feel like it's not so
No,
serious.
100%.
You just, like, have a really great time. And I don't know. I think it's a, like, fun show to, you know, step into a stunt cast.
I agree. And the character of Dawn always gets that crazy applause, so...
Well,
I'm sure it
because
was
he has a
amazing.
full transformation.
He has a journey in Act 2. He has a full journey.
Yeah. Dawn's journey is that, like, he challenges Lola to a boxing match, not knowing that Lola used to be a professional boxer, and then she challenges him to...
because Dawn thinks Lola isn't a real man.
Right, sorry,
like
I left
this.
that part out. And what's Lola's thing? What does it say to him? Oh, accept someone else for who they are. And he doesn't understand that, but it turns out he ends up accepting Charlie for who he is after he, like, has a whole meltdown and wants to, you know, fire everybody. So it's very nice at the end. Something else that I wanted to talk about with this book, which I brought up to you the other day, is that, like, all these years later, this story still holds up. It still feels very relevant today, especially, you know, closing the factory to put condos in. I did want to reference also the one line difference that I noticed, which is ladies, gentlemen, theys, thems, and you, which famously it used to be ladies, gentlemen, and those who have yet to decide, which was spoken directly to Steph in 2015.
Yes.
But I think, like, the evolution, too, of just, like, you know, conversations that people are having. We know when did, like, Drag Race become, like, really popular? Because I feel like...
That's a good question.
This kind... Like, the Drag Race audience would literally eat this up.
Yeah, it's a good question because I do feel maybe around the time this was on Broadway, Drag Race was really picking up. People were becoming more familiar with... Or maybe from my perspective... becoming more familiar, drag was becoming, like, more mainstream. You know, you're getting a drag brunch. Drag wasn't something that was just happening in, like, underground clubs, but it was something that, like, everyone was interacting with. Not everyone, but a lot of people were interacting with in some form. It was less, like, I don't know, scary in some way. Not scary, but less just, like, other and different. And I don't
Like,
know if
I
Kinky
almost
Boots was
want
like
to
part of it, but
Well, I almost wanted to say, like, was it ahead of its time? I would say that original movie in 2005 was maybe, like, a bit ahead of its time. Like, we're still having a lot of these conversations, I would say, like, right now.
absolutely, like, gender expression and gender identity are 100% still things that, you know, a lot of people don't understand or are hesitant to, like, kind of look into or embrace, for sure. I mean, we can't, like, we were talking about La Cage aux Folles already, and that was in the 80s,
Yeah.
talking up, and someone choosing to hide their gender expression in that time, and that's, you know, we, like, 20, 30, 40 years later, we still have stories where people feel the need to do that, or that's still, like, at the center of a storyline as well. But yeah, like, it's always been something that's been present in storytelling, especially when you think about the demographic of people who are writing and creating things for the theater, for Broadway. But
No,
yes, I wouldn't say, like, ahead of its time, but definitely, like, you know,
Like, in the
part
right time.
of that. Yeah.
I was also going to say, too, is that, like, I feel like this story, I mean, yes, it, like, ties everything up in, like, a nice little bow at the end, and we leave with just love and accept everyone, which I do think, like, at the end of the day is, like, such a harmless, nice
keep
message.
the factory open, but
No,
go
definitely
on.
not. But, like, to an audience that might just be, like, coming to a show that doesn't know exactly what it's about, if you can, like, you know, walk away with this, like, really cheesy little message of just, like, you know, at the end of the day, love wins. Like, that's nice, I think. It's just, like, a nice...
No, for
It's
sure.
a nice musical, like, at the end of the day.
I don't think you can leave it angry. I think you're just like, wow, that's so nice.
No, and you, like, learn enough, I think, about, like, little ounces of what these characters, like, have gone through and how they feel and how they want people to perceive them to be like, oh, yeah, like, I understand this. Maybe I'll go watch something else that will give me more information. I don't know. It's not like it's supposed to be an informative musical by any means. You know, we're literally singing a 7-step process at the end of this show. But... I don't know, it's just nice. Like, I've always just thought that it's just, like, such a nice musical, and I, like, literally love the music so much.
It's so feel good. It's just joyful. It's not trying to be, you know, anything more than it is, but yeah, it just is, like, a shot of joy for the audience and for the cast, I hope. And yeah, it's just the best.
That's the thing, I do
No,
feel like...
no notes.
Like, literally no notes.
Okay.
I do so many notes, but no actual notes.
No, I know. Like, the story's a bit thin.
Yeah,
you know,
of course.
Act 2, nothing happens.
We really, like,
stakes seem-
escalate,
but
you
it
know...
has, like, very, like, Disney stakes. Like,
Yes.
you feel confident everything's gonna get resolved. Like, there's no real,
Charlie, like,
major
leaves a
conflict.
relationship and starts a new one in 24 hours. Like,
Yeah.
it's all okay. There's, like, like, slightly maybe an affair, but, like, it doesn't actually come to fruition. Like,
Right.
there's so many things happening, but you forget because you're walking into the theater singing Just Be. So...
And Nicola's
Yeah,
singing it too, you know, so she's clearly fine.
She's also in the boots. Like, she's
wearing the boots.
loving it too. Yeah, I guess, like, the, like, Disneyfication of it is a good way to put that.
Yeah, it is,
All
like, a
that to
very,
say-
like, clean story for a story about drag queens. Like,
All
a
that to say,
very,
I would
very sanitary story.
absolutely recommend this to literally everybody.
100%. Yeah, it's the best.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Should we rate it?
Should we rate it? Wow. What a good question. I think we should rate it. Okay, let me think. What's my rating
But are we
scale?
rating, like, this production, or are we just rating Kinky Boots as a whole?
I think we're just rating Kinky Boots as a whole.
I also feel like, and, like, we're not about to go into this, but, like, please know that, like, we did not give the flowers to Stark Sans Billy Porter and Annalie Ashford the way that we should have in this episode, but, like, they have them there, so...
They have their flowers.
Stark, we love you forever.
Porter said, Stark, as Billy Porter said, when he won his Tony, I'm gonna keep it at my... I share it with you. I'm gonna keep it at my house, but I share it with you, Stark. What was I gonna say? Okay, I'm gonna give Kinky Boots... Okay, I'm gonna give Kinky Boots 8 out of 10. Like, Lauren's little ankle boots
Wow.
that she wears in the finale.
She's the only one that doesn't get the thigh highs. It's
She's
crazy.
got a knee-high boot.
I'm gonna be so bold and give Kinky Boots a 9.
A 9. I know. I was like, is it a 9? But
I just like personally,
so
I love it so much, and I feel like, and we haven't like talked about this like that much recently, but like we used to do this thing. We haven't done it in a long time because we haven't like driven that far, but we used to like pick a cast recording on a road trip and like go through the whole thing. And Kinky Boots for so long was that cast recording.
No,
so like
because it's no skips. Because it's no skips.
A no skip cast recording. Cindy did that. Harvey Firestein did that. Jerry Mitchell, you did that. And my metric will be: I love the Union Jack boots. I love them so much.
Wow. That's true. That's a good one. That's a good one.
And shout out to like all of the people playing all of the angels in every production of Kinky Boots, because you guys are actually doing the work.
They're working so hard when they're like jumping in the splits. Something that I want to like touch on for 1 second that we didn't even talk about is that we talked about earlier this year when we were doing the Doubtfire episode, and also not Doubtfire episode. We talked about Doubtfire, and when we talked about Some Like It Hot. Like, I don't consider this a Man in a Dress musical. Like,
absolutely not.
It doesn't occur to me in any way to think that, because it's like the character of Lola, it's not played as like a laugh or cheap. It's just like that is like Lola authentically. And that's what I think we're looking for if you want to have a drag performance in a show. Like, I think the character of Lola is a great example of a way to do it like authentically to that character.
I agree. I also think it's interesting because because I 100% agree with you that it doesn't feel like the Man in the Dress musical, but it is funny because Don, before his like transformation, does mention this is a man in a dress, this is a man in a frock, this is whatever, because at first he doesn't even know that Lola is a man at all until like a very pivotal scene. But then after that it's like, well, he's not the same as us, he's not a man. And that, to me, like, changing someone's mind is a much better storyline than, isn't it so funny he's wearing a dress?
Yes. Yeah, like, and that's the thing, there's nothing wrong with obviously a man wearing a dress, like but the way that it's told and mined for comedy, or attempted to be mined for comedy in other stories, and the way that it's used in this musical just like feels like miles apart. And so that's why like it didn't even occur to me until the end of the episode when I was like, oh, this is something that we've talked about repeatedly over the past few years. Many times. And like, you know, this is the perfect musical to address. Okay, this is one musical that kind of nails it, in my opinion. Because it doesn't feel like that at all.
And La Cage aux Folles is another one, I would say, that absolutely nails it. Because there's like a respect for the drag performers in a way that like these other shows make it into a joke.
Harvey.
Wow. Harvey did that.
Harvey. But yeah, like maybe it comes from like the perspective of like a gay man writing these stories and having that unique perspective on it.
I also wonder, like, we don't know, obviously, and I have not done the research to confirm or deny this, but, like, did Harvey, when he was first, you know, trying to adapt this movie, like, have drag consultation? Because I would be so interested to know about that.
It's a good question, and also Harvey Firestein, his first kind of big play was like Torch Song Trilogy, which was and also about a gay drag queen and torch singer in the New York in the 80s. So this is something that, you know, he's been exploring in his work his entire life.
Yeah.
And that's also where that authenticity comes from. It's not something that you just decided to add to a story because, you know, that was something that you thought was interesting in the moment. It's like a lived history with that thing.
It's kind of funny, though, because I think Harvey's most famous character is for him playing a woman in a dress.
That's so true. That's so true. We haven't even really talked about it in Hairspray because that's also a really tricky one to...
It doesn't feel the same as
I know
some of these other musicals where
maybe
it's like
there's
played
like no
for straight joke
reveal, and also that's like not like our villain. I don't know.
Yeah, the person is like always, you know, in the costume. It's never talked about whether that person is a man or a woman. It's just Edna. So yeah, I don't know.
But I do feel like that's different than, let's say, like a Trunchbull in Matilda, which is traditionally played by a man as well, and that one's kind of like frustrating to me sometimes because
I think the movie really put that forward.
Yeah, and I was frustrated with the movie, even though it was played by a woman. But yeah, the movie also frustrated me because it was like
the new one, not the old one.
The new, yes, of course. But like, oh, it's a man playing Trunchbull, and that's like to denote like kind of this like ugliness or something. I don't know.
Yes.
That's
a conversation for a different day.
Another conversation. I think we have had that conversation.
We definitely have. But then also, again, you know, gonna bring him back into this one more time. Robert Marcus talking to us about Mary Sunshine and like
100%.
That whole conversation. And when
where they consulted with drag queens.
Well, remember when he was like, I was listening to you guys talk about this, and the reason I did this is because of this. And it's like, oh, so like, there are reasons for things. We just like, sometimes those are not like super public knowledge. So whenever we
or as an audience, it doesn't always like come across.
Doesn't translate that way. Exactly. Yeah. When you see it in a 30-second Instagram video, you're just like, oh, well, why is that happening? Maybe there is actually a reason for it. All that to say, we love Kinky Boots. And Kinky Boots. Exactly. Toronto still loves Kinky Boots. And Kinky Boots is playing at the CAA Ed Mirvish Theatre. But if you are listening to us and you happen to be in London, Ontario, it is playing at Budweiser Gardens on June 23rd and June 24th. So there's 2 days there. And then also it's heading to BC after that. So, or sorry, Victoria, I believe. And that's kind of where they like do their final few tour stops. So there are still some Canadian dates. If there are some Canadians listening to this that aren't in the Toronto area, for everybody else, it's probably already been to a city near you. The other thing I will say, if you want to see Kinky Boots, it was filmed in London. There is, I believe it still lives on Broadway HD. And I know it was in movie theaters, like, at the time. I think, like, Killian Donnelly was Charlie Price. But I believe it's still on Broadway HD. So there is one, there's the movie that you can watch, which is not a musical. 2, there is the pro-shot taped musical. Or 3, it might be coming to a city near you. So there's many opportunities to see Kinky Boots. And it's in the West End right now.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you're in London, England, not London, Ontario, Johannes from Strictly Come Dancing is playing Lola. So,
and Matt Cardle, who famously beat One Direction in X Factor. Is that his name? Cardle?
Wow.
Is playing Charlie. Actually, that's a fun cast. There's, like, a lot of, like, fun West End people in that, too. So there's, like, ample opportunity. And actually, sorry, the final thing that I'll say on Kinky Boots was I really appreciated the commitment to the British accent from the Non-Equity Tour. Just want to say that.
Yes, they really did that. I remember an interview. Wait, we're really like dragging this out. I remember an interview with Emily Ashford where she said she was really doing the Northampton accent, and Jerry Mitchell was like, too much. He's like, just sound like Mary Poppins or something. Like let's roll it back.
Well, because Emily Ashford is like the most method of method, I feel.
Yes, so. She loves an accent. She's so good at an accent.
Okay. Any more thoughts on Kinky Boots before we move on?
No, I think I've got it all out. Okay,
great. So yeah, ample opportunities to see the show. And if you can't actually see it, just listen to the cast recording because you'll kind of get the gist of it, and it's so fun. So that's our thoughts on Kinky Boots, and now it's time for our obsession of the week.
Okay, my obsession this week is actually a brand new musical we recently got the opportunity to see, and it's called It's a Good Life If You Don't Weekend. So if you don't know, it is a brand new musical currently playing, I believe, at Theatre Aquarius in Hamilton. Our first time at Theatre Aquarius. It is using the music of the Tragically Hip to tell the story of a refugee from Iraq coming to Kingston, Ontario, and kind of how he adapts to
Not
Canadian
to interrupt
culture.
you, but it tragically closed yesterday if you're listening to this on release day.
Oh.
That's okay, though. It's going to have a life.
It is going to have a life. Okay, yes, it told the story of a refugee from Iraq and how he adapts to Canadian life and how he has, his heart still in Baghdad and also in Canada. And I was excited about this because I really like the music of the Tragically Hip. I was really excited that it's a brand new musical that is being developed here and is like a distinctly Canadian story. And when we saw it, even after intermission, I was like, oh, this is good. I was happy. I was like relieved in some ways. I was like, this is actually good. The music sounds great in my opinion. And I think the story is like very touching. I almost wish, if anyone's listening, I think they should go harder in tugging the heartstrings. I think that is
something we talked about on our way home.
They hold back a little bit. And I was like, go in. I feel like make us feel even like more. There was a moment, what was I thinking about? The part where they he can't get his passport to go home after his mom has died. This is full spoiler alert. The part where he can't get his passport, I wish we really like delved deeper into that kind of like moment of devastation. And I thought it would be interesting to like kind of explain, like, and this might be difficult to do in a musical, like the bureaucracy of what it means to be a refugee and like kind of the difficulties that come along with also like the relief of being safe. I think that's like a really interesting part to explore. But I have to say, I really, really enjoyed it. I can't wait for it to continue to have a life. I believe it's playing next at the Thousand Islands Playhouse. It's going to Montreal. It's
next
produced
year.
Next year. It's produced in conjunction or with permission, I believe, from David and Hannah Mirvish. So I do think, you know, it has a future here in Toronto as well, probably with
Also,
them.
Michael Rubinoff is on this.
Michael
who
Rubinoff.
is, you know, come from away fame. So
Yes, exactly.
We've got some real
Exactly.
heavy hitters here. Just to jump on
Please.
you here as well, I want to point out Aisling Murphy's article from the
Please.
Globe and Mail. She has been following this musical for a year. We
It's a really
have her
interesting
writing.
article.
I was fascinated by it. There's a paywall, but like you can find a way.
We can do that.
It was really interesting to like hear the behind the scenes. The most fascinating part to me was how like in a workshop, like to the next day, we completely like trashed the script and changed the creative team.
Wow.
I love hearing about the behind the scenes of this stuff
The
because
development
it's things
process.
that we don't get to hear about this stuff very often. So especially in Canada, I feel it's very like closed set all the time. We never hear about anything. So to have someone actually on the ground in the room was like really exciting to me. My
Following
one
it
note,
from the beginning, please.
change your title, please.
I do think it's hard to
little
remember.
long.
It's not catchy. And for me, I like the Tragically Hip, but I'm like, you know, I didn't grow up necessarily with them. It's more of like a discovery in my adulthood. So this is not like a song I'm super familiar with in any way. So the title does not roll off the tongue. We were trying to go through the song titles that they use to find a good one. This is the Act 1 finale. It's a Good Life If You Don't Weaken. So I understand. And it was kind of one of the most emotional moments of the show. But I think maybe if you have something a bit more distinct, like Tragically Hip, like do you do something like Ahead by a Century? Or I think that's not bad because, you know, I don't know. Or do you do something like Music at Work? I think there's something to that. I'm just like reading the song titles.
You know, as someone that is not familiar with the Tragically Hip,
Yeah.
that title, none of these titles mean anything to me. I just think
No, I
it's
know.
like
Long time
I
running.
couldn't even remember what it was called
Yeah, so I
at
was like,
all. So
it's
it's
a
just
this,
it's too
it's a
long.
this.
It's a little too long. All that to
Something
say
I
though,
really like-
great performances all around. Like
Yes.
everyone really, really good in it.
Yes, we have to shout out absolutely Ali Momin, a star. Talia Schlanger was really good in this.
Really good.
Who played Dee Dee, who I like.
Yes.
Tahiri Vijdani, she's like the cafe owner that Waleed works for. Really liked her as well.
A really good ensemble.
So many good things. Yeah, the ensemble really great. Who is it? Kevin McLaughlin, who plays his like roommate. You know, he's
Good.
also like dancing really hard in the back.
Yeah.
He does a backflip crazily at one point. We're like,
Yeah.
whoa. Yeah, something about this. It's a musical, but also in some ways a play with music in that the music is often not the characters literally singing their thoughts. It's like a backdrop to the story. I really, really liked it. I can't wait to see it continue to have a life and continue to develop. And yeah, I'm happy that we got to see it in its like initial public run.
Yeah,
and to get to follow it going forward.
It's interesting to see something in its first run because it's very likely that should we see
different.
this again, it will be extremely different. So,
which is fun, which is the best.
not
I
as
think.
different as if anyone saw it at the workshop. That was the most different. But yeah,
But it's fun to see an out of town,
Out-of-town.
let's say, and like follow its development, especially like as a fan on the outside, just to kind of get a better understanding of what it means to like create a musical from the ground up.
No, it's great. And like I love that Michael Rubinoff is, you know, championing Canadian work because
New
you know,
work
Come From
here.
Away
100%.
was such a hit. So I think a lot of people when they see his name attached to something, like it's always a good thing. So it's nice.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a good life. If you don't weaken, if you missed it in Hamilton, there are opportunities to see it, and I think it's going to have hopefully
According
a long
to the
life,
Globe and
so.
Mail article, after it goes to Montreal in 2027, it will be going to other Canadian cities. So we just don't know where yet. I don't think it's like public information yet.
Yeah.
They obviously want to see how it
working
does in front of other audiences as well. So we will like keep you updated what happens with this show. And then we'll also link any of like Ashling's articles for this because like, again, she was in the room for a year. So pretty interesting.
We saw her, where did we see her? At A Beautiful Noise. Like that week that we saw this in her It's a Good Life If You Don't Weekend hoodie.
Yeah. Very
so
good.
she's there. Anyway, Tara, what's your obsession this week?
Wow, my obsession this week like literally doesn't even matter now because we did a whole deep dive on that. If you listen to our last 2 episodes, you'll know that we did a deep dive into the Tony nominations. And as I said on one of those 2 episodes, not sure which one because we recorded them both together, I've really become obsessed with the Lost Boys 3-song EP. So on Apple Music, and I'm sure on Spotify too, it's the Lost Boys, the Santa Clara Sessions. So there's 3 songs on this. There's Have to Have You, which Ali Lewis Borsky sings with a feature of Slash. Very fun. Oh. There's Belong to Someone, which is like the main song by, I believe his name is LJ Bennett, the lead boy. And then my obsession this week, literally, I cannot stop listening to the song. And it's so funny because who's playing it now is Shoshana Bean and Paul Alexander Nolan. But on this EP, it's Casey Levy and Patrick Wilson.
Wow.
Yes. So I actually first heard them sing this live somewhere. Actually, so funny that I'm talking about this here because this is actually a score by a band. A la Cyndi Lauper, a la the Tragically Hip. So we're kind of tying this all back in. This is The Rescues does the score of The Lost Boys. And I actually saw a clip. They must have done some sort of like presentation somewhere with Casey and Patrick Wilson singing with The Rescues. And I saw a clip maybe a year ago, maybe 2 years ago on Instagram. And I was like, oh, this song is really good. And now I literally listen to it on repeat. Casey Levy, we've said this so many times, has such a phenomenal voice. I am so obsessed with how she can like flip into her higher register. She maybe has the best mixed belt in the game. I just like love her so much. But Patrick Wilson, what a singer. He is so good. I always forget. His claim to fame to me is Raoul in the Phantom movie with Gerard Butler. But he is like so good in this. He is a lead producer on the musical. So he's like really invested in this show. I just think it's like it's a really nice musical theater song. It's sung between the mom character and I don't know what character this Paul Alexander Nolan plays. I mean, I do know, but I won't say it publicly.
He's like in a band.
But it's basically like the mother is like talking about what it would be like to live like they were younger when they were like wild and free. I love it so much. And I will play the best part, which is like the duet of them together. So I don't know, like this makes me like really excited for the Lost Boys, a musical I'll maybe never see, but like I'm excited about it.
Can't wait for the tour.
So,
cannot wait for it to tour.
You think we're going to be flying on the tour? I don't know.
I mean, maybe sometimes they do.
I also think it's exciting when we get, we spent a full episode talking about this, but when you get, people that do music for a living in a different medium move towards Broadway, I just think it when it works, it's exciting. And I think that the Rescues are like on the right track with this
when you
musical.
can translate it to storytelling.
I did say this in our Tony episode as well, but Broadway.com did have Shoshana Bean and Paul Alexander Nolan singing this exact same song in their like Broadway.com sessions. That one is also really good, but for the sake of my obsession, I am choosing the Casey Levy, Patrick Wilson from the Santa Clara Sessions. So that's my obsession this week. That's our thoughts on Kinky Boots, and that's it. I think our next episode is our way back when on the 2006 Tonys. So we actually have so much to listen to before we record that episode.
I know, we gotta work.
work. I need to listen to The Wedding Singer in order and not randomly on Spotify because it doesn't make any sense that way. Anyway, if you want to go back and listen to any of our other episodes, you can do that by subscribing to our podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. You can also watch us on YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe there and leave us a comment. And thank you to the person who left us a comment about Paddington. Allegedly, you don't have to see the movie to watch the musical. So thank you so much for that.
Good to know. Good to know. We might still, but who knows?
Yeah.
But yes, and you can follow us on Instagram at Off2BOA Podcast with the number 2, or on TikTok at Off to Broadway. See you next time.
Bye.